Good morning and welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every person and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another not by creed, but by covenant. And we are called to love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. This morning, we light our chalice with these words from Renee Ruhatsky. Our first breath is followed by our first song. Lusty, loud, and primal, a solo that announces to the world, I have arrived. We are the music. As toddlers hearing our first reggae beat, we let our spines and hips bend and sway in response, as natural as the beat of our hearts. We are the music. The drone of the bass notes of the church organ, a vibration in our chest, tense muscles relax, the breath deepens. We are the music. As we push the air from our bellies out through the chest and throat, our changing expressions shape the sound. We are the music. As we sing together, voices blend to create a harmony, each voice enriched by its connection to the next. We are the music.
Good morning, I'm John O'Connor, today's worship coordinator. As always, it's good to be together while apart. Please join me in welcoming our musicians and thanking our tech team, leads Art Nava and Sandy Dixon, and cinematographer Rich Abreu, for making this service possible today. And welcome to the Reverend Joanna Lubkin. Joanna is a longtime member of Arlington Street Church, having joined in 2011 and a long-term choir member. She's currently wrapping up serving our congregation in Braintree, Massachusetts, and on August 1st will begin as the interim minister at Theodore Parker Church in West Roxbury, Massachusetts. For those of you who are new to Arlington Street Church, a very special welcome to this beloved spiritual community. We'd love to stay in touch. Please take a moment now to fill out a connection card. The link is in the chat. If you haven't already downloaded today's order of service, it's available in the chat and on the homepage at ascboston.org. All of the hymn lyrics are included in the order of service and will be posted in the chat so that we can all sing together. As we continue our greetings, let's all say hello in the chat and engage that Arlington Street Church spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the cattle are standing like statues. All the cattle are standing like statues. They don't turn their heads as they see me ride by. But a little brown heifer is winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the sounds of the earth are like music. All the sounds of the earth are like music. The breeze is as busy, it don't miss a tree. And an old weeping willow is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be your living sanctuary for you.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted on our website by the Friday evening deadline. If you didn't submit your candle and have a joy or sorrow to share this morning, please wait until the third candle is lit, the silent candle, and then type your joy or sorrow into the chat. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Despite having to be apart, may we stay very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in the order of service and in the chat.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be your living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
From the Arlington Street Church community, a candle of sorrow and concern for the people of Haiti as they strive to restore some sense of political and economic stability after the killing of their president, Jovenel Moïse, apparently at the hands of Colombian and American nationals. From the Arlington Street Church community, a candle of sorrow for the now over 4 million deaths caused by COVID-19. While we in the United States are largely returning to life as normal thanks to the vaccine, the rest of the world remains largely unvaccinated and at risk. From the Arlington Street Church community, a final candle of concern for the 16,000 Afghani interpreters who have been left behind in Afghanistan despite pledges to evacuate them. May the United States follow through on its commitment to evacuate them before the country falls under the control of the Taliban.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
And some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
From the Arlington Street Church community, a candle of joy that here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, 60% of the people getting vaccines in the past 2 weeks were people of color, bringing the percentage of those vaccinated to over 50% in this segment of the population. There remains work to be done, but we are making progress. And finally, a candle of joy from the ministers and staff of Arlington Street Church, wishing you all a wonderful summer filled with restorative, life-affirming experiences. We can't wait to see you in the fall and to hear about all your wonderful adventures.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
For all of the sorrows and all of the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, and for the world. So may it be. Amen.
Please join me in saying our affirmation and covenant. It's printed in the order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another.
El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros. The house lights go down. The spotlight illuminates the red velvet curtains, and an anticipation, a hush, falls over the crowd. The orchestra begins the overture, and the curtains open, and suddenly the show begins. Or maybe you're sitting alone in your room, or you're in the car on a long family trip, and you put on the soundtrack to a Broadway show. You listen start to finish, or maybe you skip the songs that you can't stand, and you are singing along at the top of your lungs, whether in key or not. And it's playful, or it's visceral, or it's inspiring. And through its story, you are connected with something larger. For many of us, musical theater is magic. When we see a show, we are transported and enveloped in another world. Audiences and performers agree to suspend disbelief, to live for a few hours in a universe where people break out into song and then are joined by a cadre of backup dancers, where you can pour your whole heart out in a song and be understood. And part of what makes live theater even more magical is the shared experience of being wrapped up in the story together. Researchers at the University College of London found that when a group of people are at a live theater event together, their heartbeats synchronize with each other and with the emotional arc of the story. There are so many life lessons and spiritual teachings to be found in musicals. Now, whether or not Broadway is one of your go-to musical genres, I invite you to hear the messages that you need to hear today. Here are 5 lessons offered to us from the sacred texts of musical theater. Lesson 1, no one is alone. Or if I were to sing the line from Into the Woods, no one's here to guide you, now you're on your own, only me beside you, still you're not alone, no one is alone, truly no one is alone. Picture it. One of the lead actors starts a song telling their story. Say it's Dear Evan Hansen, and Evan Hansen takes center stage all alone and sings, have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? And you are right there with him in his vulnerability. But then a second voice joins in with their own message. There's a place where we don't have to feel alone. And every time that you call out, you're a little less alone. And then by the bridge and the last chorus, the whole cast fills the stage and is singing at the top of their lungs, you will be found. This is one of my favorite metaphors from musical theater, and I don't know if there's a technical term for it, but it's the structure where one lone voice is joined by a companion, and then a trio, and then it's the whole ensemble. At its best, this is what we hope for in community, in this UU congregation. We hope to create spaces where each of us can show up, vulnerably share our own truth, and have a whole cast of characters join in with us. Sometimes they'll be singing in the unison of like-mindedness, and it is so powerful. And sometimes they'll be singing a harmony or a counter melody that adds richness to our own. Musical theater is not a solo act, and neither is community. Lesson 2, people come into our lives for a reason. Or, if I were to sing the line from Wicked, I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. I actually first learned of this concept as a teaching from Jewish mysticism, that our souls choose this particular life, this particular lifetime, our friends and adversaries, to help us learn what we need to learn. I don't know if I believe that on a cosmic scale, but I do believe that we can learn from everyone around us. When we're inspired by someone we meet, we have the chance to nurture those traits in ourselves. We meet someone whose generosity inspires us, and it helps us to become more generous too. They have shown us a way to be in the world, in community, in relationship that we can cultivate. And when we're annoyed by someone we meet, as in the case of Glinda and Elphaba in Wicked, we have the opportunity to grow ourselves. As the Dalai Lama says, if you can cultivate the right attitude, your enemies are actually your best spiritual teachers, because their presence provides you with the opportunity to enhance and develop tolerance, patience, and understanding. Lesson 3, you've got to be carefully taught. Or, if I were to sing the line from South Pacific, you've got to be taught to hate and fear. You've got to be taught from year to year. It's got to be drummed in your dear little ear. You've got to be carefully taught. The late South African leader Nelson Mandela taught, no one is born hating another person because of the color of their skin or their background or their religion. People must learn to hate, he said, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. This is a helpful reminder that we were brought up in a society of systemic racism. Even if we as individuals are out there in the world doing our best to be loving and kind to everyone, we have still had a lifetime of absorbing messages that center and privilege white, Christian, straight, able-bodied, cisgendered identities. Our faith's commitment to building a just, equitable, and inclusive world calls us to unlearn so much that society has taught us and to live courageously into new ways. Mandela is right. Love does come more naturally to the human heart. We're building those new ways all the time And to add in another little Into the Woods quote, children will listen. Children will see and learn. The work that we do to unlearn oppression is noticed and needed by the generations coming up. When we bump up against the discomfort or despair that happens as part of our work to dismantle systems of oppression, let us remember that every one of our actions can create a deeper liberation for those who come after us. Lesson 4. Follow every byway toward your dream, even when it feels impossible. Well, this does mash up 2 dream songs, including To Dream the Impossible Dream, but you get the idea. I can't even begin to count the number of musicals whose plot involves going after a far-fetched dream and succeeding at least in some fashion by the end. Fundamentally, I believe that we each have gifts that the world needs, and that our dreams are a part of the story of the world. Any dream will do. Now, this isn't precisely musical theater, but when it comes to dreaming big dreams, I always think about Jim Henson, the creator of the Muppets. There's a story that one day Jim gathered a bunch of creatives into a conference room, and he said, let's think of an idea that would bring peace to the world in our lifetimes. Although he knew that TV shows don't necessarily bring peace to the world, they weren't so cynical as to say, we can't think about it. The result of that conversation was the TV show Fraggle Rock, which, while it didn't bring about complete world peace, did teach values of being good neighbors, celebrating diversity, and curiosity. The world is better for this, and the world will be better for each of us moving toward our dreams. And lesson 5. Measure in love. Or, if I were to sing the line from Rent, how do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter, in strife, in 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? Measure in love. I mean, this one just gets right to the heart of things, doesn't it? As we look back at this a little over a year of pandemic time, this is the lens that I hope we use. Even as many of us are itching to return to familiar rhythms, to reconnect with people we've missed, to gather again as a community, let's lift up and honor all of the ways that we've expressed and received love throughout this time. How has love shown up in your life during the pandemic? Beloveds, stay open to the magic of being transported into a story, of being transfixed as our hearts beat in time together. May this be a place where you don't have to feel alone. Truly, no one is alone. People come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn. We are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. You've got to be carefully taught. Children will listen. Let us measure our lives in love. So may it be, and amen.
So this might be an unfamiliar song to a lot of people from musical theater. And the only reason that I know it was that when I was like an 11 or 12-year-old boy, I was cast as the like little Italian like street urchin, because I guess I sort of looked Italian, and they were doing it at a local theater, and it's like a nearly forgotten, unsuccessful collaboration between Richard Rodgers and Stephen Sondheim, who wrote the lyrics, and Rodgers wrote the music. And for some reason, we did it at my local community theater, and like, so this particular song, which is the title track, so to speak, kind of lodged in my head, and I still never forgot it all these years later. And so I was like, oh yeah, I should do this one. Nobody knows it, and it's got kind of a nice message too, but it's really just, it's a pretty song. Do I hear a waltz? Very odd, but I hear a waltz. There isn't a band, and I don't understand it at all. I can't hear a waltz. Oh my Lord, there it goes again. Why is nobody dancing in the street? Can't they hear the beat? Magical, mystical miracle, can it be? Is it true? Things are impossibly lyrical. Is it me? No, it's you. I do hear a waltz. I see you and I hear a waltz. It's what I've been waiting for all my life, to hear a waltz. Do you hear a waltz? Oh my dear, don't you hear a waltz? Such lovely blue Danube music, how can you be still? You must hear a waltz, even strangers are dancing now. An old lady is dancing in her flat, waltzing with her cat. Roses are dancing with peonies, yes, it's true, don't you see? Everything suddenly Viennese, can't be you, must be me. Do I hear a waltz? I want more than to hear a waltz. I want you to share it, 'cause oh boy, do I hear a want. I hear a want. I hear a want.
Friends, our generosity continues to astound everyone. Throughout the pandemic, we have continued to pay our staff and maintain our building. Arlington Street is entirely self-supporting. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to our beloved spiritual community by filling our virtual collection plate. You can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 617-300-0509. Scan the QR code in the order of service, visit our homepage at ascboston.org, and click on the yellow Donate Now button. Or you can write a check and send it to Arlington Street Church. Thank you for your generosity. After you make your gift to sustain our beloved community, please continue to share in the chat what inspires you during these difficult days. This week, as always, there's a lot going on in the Zoom room. There are gatherings for loving kindness, meditation, poetry, and a tea party with our ministers, yoga, writing, and more. Please visit ascboston.org for information on everything that's going on this week. To attend any of these offerings, you don't have to be a member. You don't have to turn on your video. You don't even have to talk if you want to. And it's all free. Again, please visit ascboston.org for information on everything going on. All are always welcome. Before I turn it over to our musicians for the closing hymn, thank you to all of you who joined today's service and to all those who made it possible. Remember, we're all in this together.
When you walk through a storm, keep your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm is a golden sky and the sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone.
As we come to a close, I invite you to reach out your hands and touch the sides of your square. Touch hands with the people to your left and to your right, and send out love to the people on either side of you and the people on either side of them. Send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming back to you. Love is the spirit of this congregation. And for our benediction, I invite you to put your hands over your heart, either in namaste or one over the other. We share these words from Reverend Israel Bafardi. My friends, when you go from here, know that our hearts are always in a holy place, for we are always connected to one another. Know that deep down, our hearts beat in one universal rhythm. May we each find the sacred space to hear it. Let us keep this faith, beloved, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Go in peace. Amen.
Where you go? Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.